Hello everyone, it's Ann here from Ann Makes. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome into my studio. If you are new here, why don't you subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button below the description, and if you click on the bell, YouTube will notify you whenever I post new content. So today I bring you Craft Room Organization DIY Hacks and Ideas 3. Yes, we are on video number 3 today. And in today's video, I want to share with you just exactly how I organize all my stamps. And if you saw Organization DIY Hacks and Ideas 2, that's the video where I share with you all my catalogs, my cataloging system that I have to help me in the organization of everything in my craft room or studio. So today, in reference to this big binder here of my stamp collection, we are going to look at just exactly I store my stamps. So for that, we're going to move the camera around, and there's going to be a little bit of motion. I'll try to keep it as steady as I can, and then you'll see me later. Okay. Behind those two white doors is where I store the greater majority of my stamps. So let's open the doors to see what's in there. All these stamps that are currently in the white cupboard here, in the file boxes and other boxes, used to be contained in these 4 storage towers, plus some binders, plus some other boxes. On the lowest shelf here, the first shelf and the second shelf, you can see most of my stamps. I also have a third shelf. I'm just going to tilt the camera so you can get a glimpse of that. Hope you can see that. Okay. There's more stamps up on that shelf. Let's just focus for now on the ones where we can get a straighter shot. Okay, so in the magazine or file holders there, I have stored all my stamps that are flat. So that would be the clear acrylic stamps, the cling stamps, and some flat foam stamps. So these boxes are all labeled with some Dollar Tree clear labels that are intended to put on the spines of binders. And I've used a label maker to make a label that I place onto the white piece. But as you can see, and I'll bring it up closer for you, each label has a piece of decorative tape or washi tape. So each label is made of that plastic sticky pack label that are available at the Dollar Tree and Dollarama. I've seen them at both places, and they're intended to be stuck on the side of binders so we can label binders and whatnot. But I use them everywhere else. So in here there's a little piece of white card. I've made a label with my label maker. This one says vintage. There is a strip of decorative tape or paper tape or washi tape here that corresponds to a section in my stamp binder. Within each of these boxes, there are numerous page protectors. Let's just pull this one out again for the sake of simplicity. And what I want to show you is that I have some plastic page protectors that have the same strip of washi tape here at the top, so it's easy to identify visually. And it's just a piece of paper or cardstock, whatever I had on hand. I've also written the category vintage here on the little white sticky back label. And I store in this what I consider to be my vintage stamps. As you can see, these are just put in simply like that. I have some other pages where I have made pockets out of the page protectors so I could insert multiple sets of stamps. Each set of stamp is labeled, and on that label I put the name of the stamp, the item number that it has, the number of pieces there are in the stamp, the brand or the company, and if there's anything that came with the stamp. Like this one says with coordinate stencil, so that means there's a stencil that matches this, and I will have put a similar note on the stencil in the stencil storage. So this is how I store the clear acrylic stamps. I also have some for the cling stamps. These are rubber stamps that are considered cling stamps, and there's some clear stamps in here, and here again is another pocket, another page protector page that I made several pockets. These were sewn on the sewing machine and then cut, and I used both sides. So I really stuff these pockets up really well, so just to save on space. And again, some stamps, well, not some stamps, but all the stamps are labeled as to the brand, the name, the quantity. Right here. As I was saying, some of these page protector that have pockets, some I have created a slit and cut across with scissors through the page protector only. Then I've slid in a piece of paper, and then I've just glued down the plastic where it is cut, so I could create a pocket for the stamp set. So I could then take my stamp set, put it in this top pocket here, and it just doesn't fall all the way down because I have used some tape here to hold this cut piece of the page. Some other pockets. At my first attempt at making these pages, I was very brave and I used a sewing machine, and then I cut with an X-Acto through the plastic. Either way works fine. This was my newer type of storage system with just taping. I've also tried glue. They all work. Now, only time will tell which one works the best, which one holds up the best, but I figure that I like to sew. Sewing is easy for me, so sewing these pages was not a hardship. But for other people, sewing could be very challenging. So it's possible to make pockets just by using some tape or some double-sided adhesive as well. So that is what I do. So by having all my stamps in these plastic page protectors, it just makes it really easy to slide them in and slide them out, like so. And by having the tape at the top of each page, clearly quickly I can identify them as being a vintage stamp. So that is how I store them here. So in this one, for example, in this box, I had room for 5 categories because it just worked out that way that I have more vintage stamps and more sentiment stamps than I do all the other categories. So for example, in here I have my animal stamps, and I can recognize my animal stamps by this tape that I put, as well as the little label that says animals. I also have my creativity stamps, which are identified by this type of tape, and so on. Now, as far as my wood-mounted stamps are concerned, I have chosen to store them in these plastic boxes. They are boxes that are made by Stampendous, and yes, I think they're made by Stampendous, and I will have a link for them. These ones are the thicker ones. These are called the stufftainers, and these are the thicker stufftainers because they have different types of these plastic containers. I find they are great for storing stamps. As you can see here, I have a lot of wood-mounted stamps. They are very easy to push onto the shelf and to pull off the shelf. What I do with these is that there is a label on the side of each of my boxes. I have the name of the category plus a piece of the tape that corresponds with that category as it corresponds to my binder. And I have a number here because I have several, if I have several wood-mounted stamps in the like for the sentiments, I actually have 11 boxes. So I've numbered them 1 through 11, so it's just easier to find my stamps, my sentiment stamps that are wood mounted when I want one. The other thing I do that kind of helps me when I put the stamps away is that I have a sheet of paper in the box, and I've tried to stamp each stamp onto that sheet of paper. So at a glance, I can see very quickly what the stamp is. Also, I have a better idea of how to put all these stamps back in the box so they will fit. It's kind of like a puzzle, so this is just a guide for me to help put the stamps back, and so make sure that they all fit. Just in case I would happen to open up all 11 boxes at one time and have all the stamps scattered all over the place. I doubt very much that I would do that, but I like to be prepared. So that is all my wood-mounted stamps. They're all labeled, and I can locate my stamps whenever I look in my binder. If I am looking for a particular stamp, first I will look in my binder, and I will be able to come here and match the picture that I see in my catalog to one of the boxes here. I do have some stamps that came in some already made boxes. At the top of the cupboard, I'll try to show you, I have some boxes of stamps. They're different boxes. I've just kept them in those boxes because they are very convenient for storage. They're nice and flat. They fit nicely on the shelf. So that for me is just a matter of convenience. Now finally, I have other stamps that I have stored in this plastic drawer storage tower on wheels thing. In those drawers are some wood-mounted stamps that I didn't have enough boxes to continue putting them in my cupboard at the time. Since then I have received new boxes, so those stamps may be moved into the cupboard I just showed you. But basically what I've done here is I have just a couple of categories left there. I've labeled each stamp set and stamp set, and I've identified each drawer with a letter. So I have entered those into the stamp catalog in reference to those letters, so I know to look in those drawers at each letter to find the stamp I'm looking for when it's a wood-mounted stamp. So in here I have some flower stamps, and I also have some birthday and celebration. As far as all the stamps that have matching dies, as indicated here in the stamp catalog, those are stored in this drawer. Here I have all the stamps with dies, and on this side I just have dies that don't have coordinating stamps. So this is my entire collection of stamps with dies. They're all labeled. And in the catalog I have either a photocopy of each stamp and die set, or I have an actual sample. So I hope you're not too exhausted or nauseated or whatever. I hope it's positive by my showing you how I store and organize my stamps. I hope that you maybe got some information, maybe you found something, a tidbit of something useful in there for helping you in your own craft organization. I know this is not for everybody. This is just what works for me. So comment down below if this was any helpful. If you have any other tips, please share. I love it when my viewers share their own tips, how they do things, or how, if they've applied something that I've shared with them, how it works out. I love to know that. I mean, sharing is caring, and it's great for the entire community. I think the other viewers also read the comments, and it's just helpful overall. So why not just support each other? So thanks again for stopping by. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would so appreciate a thumbs up. Please like, please comment, and share. And until next time, stay crafty. Bye.